What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Backcourt Bros. I'm your host, Will Neufeld, here with my good friend Ryan Rivas, as always. And in this video, we are talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder, their chances of contending next season. So, we all know that last season, Oklahoma had the number 1 seed. This was kind of surprising. I mean, we knew that this young team was on the rise, but their first seed came pretty quickly, or at least in my opinion, it did. They proved me wrong, though. They made it all the way to the 1 seed, and all their young guys are going to continue to develop. Then going into the offseason, they did end up losing in the playoffs, not going all the way. That was completely expected. They're young, they don't have that experience yet. So, looking at this season is definitely more interesting. But they got Alex Caruso in the offseason. They also got Isaiah Hartenstein. So, Ryan, how about you elaborate more on that? What does that necessarily mean for this team, and what does it really say about them?
All I know for sure is that Alex Caruso's perimeter defense is definitely going to be needed and useful for them. And also having a really good backup big behind Chet Holmgren is going to be good because they didn't really have one, Like it was just like the other Jalen Williams was their backup big. Yeah, like you said, these young guys are constantly going to improve. Like Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, and like some of the other guys, it's going to be really good. Especially like Chet Holmgren might have like an early breakout year or something because he's shown a lot in just his rookie season. And then Shea's just constantly going to get better with more MVP type numbers. In my opinion, he got robbed of it last year because he was like right there, And then Hartenstein's going to bring in a lot of really good interior defense and be a really big presence in the paint because other teams would just roll right on through Chet Holmgren, but his length stopped him from being a defensive liability.
Yeah.
Hartenstein's strength is going to be very useful in all the other tools the team brings.
Yeah, for sure. I also see the age of both Alex Caruso and Hartenstein. That says something. This team has always been one of the youngest teams in the league, and now they're getting, Caruso, Hartenstein. These guys aren't old by any means, but they are a bit older than the rest of this roster. So this
Yeah.
is kind of, what I think of them saying, now we are moving on to being more of a contender than a rebuilder. And yeah, I'm excited.
Me too, man. I mean, like, everyone's definitely going to have a bigger contributing piece to their run this year.
Yeah. So, Ryan, if you're OKC, who do you see as your biggest threat in the Western Conference?
I would maybe possibly consider looking out for, like, the Timberwolves. Dallas for sure, but Timberwolves could be there because they had a really good run last year. Will, their defense is also going to be really good. Like, Alex Caruso is going to lock everyone up on perimeter. Like, who's been taking on most of their perimeter defense? Like, it's been Lou Dort and, like, not that much shade though, right? It was more of a Lou Dort type job, and Chet Holmgren was their front court defense. So
Yeah, definitely. Especially what Lou Dort did to Luka Doncic. He guarded him the best in the playoffs, in my opinion.
oh yeah, the only thing Lou Dort's lacked was height against Luka because Luka's just a big point guard. But
Yeah.
everyone else lacked the strength. Like they all had the height, but not the strength.
Yeah, I definitely see that, especially with a young team. Like all the youngsters are always like very lengthy and not very solid. Lou Dort was a little more solid, so that definitely helped them.
Yeah.
But for me personally, when I think of OKC, their defense, as you have said, is really good. But I see their offense because when you have a piece like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and this is something that I love about not just Shea, but even guys like Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, other point guards, they move off the ball. And
Oh,
Shea doesn't do it as much as, say, a guy like Curry. And actually, now that I think about it, Luka doesn't move off the ball as much either. But the ability to just make a pass and the willingness to just cut, you see Shea's willingness as a passer, as a playmaker. Shea is such a dangerous driving threat that when he drives to the paint, he's often going to get doubled by the big man. And as
oh
soon
yeah.
as he pulls that big man out too far, it's an easy just, shovel pass to
Oh yeah.
Chet, a cutting Lou Dort, or it's sent out to three-pointer for Isaiah Joe, J-Dub, definitely out there. That's something we should talk about a little bit more is that J-Dub,
J-
especially in the playoffs, holy cow. I was like, who is this guy?
Me
He's
too.
actually cracked.
J Dub is definitely underrated in my opinion. He was definitely slept on in the draft for sure. I mean, OKC got so lucky that he was still there. Like his
Yeah.
defense, his offense, it's all been there. Like he's all put the pieces together and connected it now. So I'm very impressed with J Dub.
Yeah, especially, OKC is a team that they didn't prioritize offense over defense or defense over offense. They
Yeah.
got it all in one. Like Shea is definitely an offensive guy, but he can play defense too. Uh J Dub just as good of a defender as he is uh on offense. And then like Chet Holmgren, he's a great shot blocker and can also stretch your floor at that center spot, power forward spot. So yeah, at this point, if everyone stays healthy, I'm
Yeah.
gonna predict that OKC, they're gonna be the 1 seed again. What do you think?
Yeah. I agree too, but like, who do you think there could be like some actual teams that are threats, or like, what do you think they lack as a team? Like, is there something
Ooh.
a team could pull together to make a weakness out of them? Like, they had Josh Giddey last year; he was their biggest weakness.
Oh
He
yeah.
he kind of sold them in the playoffs, even though he got like 4 minutes a game play. What do you
Yeah.
think the weaknesses could be?
So this team has been very well constructed. Their weaknesses that they do have, no team is perfect. They are very small and they're very hard to
Yeah,
pick at. Right now, the big one, and it's the same one as last season, and it's their lack of experience. They fixed that, but when you look at like Shea Gilgeous Alexander, he is still young. He still doesn't have that maturity in the playoffs to just, like the Mamba mentality where it's like, I'm gonna just take over here. Like everyone's watching you. This is game 7. And to just stay calm under the pressure and take that. That's what OKC kind of lacks. But again, that comes with time.
yeah,
Looking at this upcoming season, I don't think OKC is gonna win it all. They could, but I would be very surprised. I think they need one more year of development before I would even consider them
yeah,
championship like actual contenders. Right now they're just West contenders. But yeah, other weaknesses can be size, as you've said.
yeah,
Chet, very much a twig of a center. His length, as you've said, has made up for that, but you know, being thin. Shea is a little thin. They don't they lack a little bit of athleticism, I feel like, compared to some of the other
mm,
younger teams. They're a lot more
yeah.
lower to the ground. But are there any weaknesses that you have seen from this OKC team so far in their young career?
Not really. They're not very evident because they have the 3-point shooting all around. Like even their bigs can shoot threes, except Harkenstein. We'll just say that's a little maybe right there.
Yeah.
They have the defense now. They've got good enough chemistry with each other. The bench is pretty good. I'm not seeing too many, but like you said, their strength and size is what they lack for sure, and their experience. That's all I could really find, like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
OKC also got a pretty good draft pick in this year's draft with Nikola Topic. I haven't been quite on top of his basketball lately, but I mean, he's pretty good from what I've heard and what I've seen. His handles, he's a good guard. He's got a pretty reliable shot, but his vision is definitely what stands out most, especially because if he can be passive and play more off ball while Shea does all the dirty work, I think that would really help their team a lot.
Yeah, a good playmaker to come off the bench for OKC could definitely be beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
One other difference I see between this OKC team compared to last year's OKC team is that I think Shea Gilgeous Alexander is actually going to win MVP. There's some guys like Joel Embiid,
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic, of course, even Luka Doncic. But, I feel like the hype is real around Shea. If he's always proven to, like, come from being an underdog to rising up to being one of the best. And I think he's going to do that this year. I mean, it's close between him and Luka Doncic for
Yeah.
me personally in terms of like who I want to see. But I really believe in Shea Gilgeous Alexander's game, and his teammates are also good enough that they can help him achieve that.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Like it's a regular season award, but they play with such pace and energy that I think that he has a higher chance than say Luka Doncic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree. Well, that's all the time we have today. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.